Yeah, so in upstream Bitcoin Core, I think since version 0.14, which was a couple years ago now, um, there has been a vulnerability whereby if you construct a transaction in a certain way, you can essentially duplicate coins that you have. Um, so, if you had 10 coins and you constructed the transaction in this specific way, maybe now you could have 20 coins instead, um, without actually having 20 coins to start with. So this is a big problem because it means that people can generate money from nothing.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, so all versions of Vertcoin Core are affected from, I think, 0.12 upwards. Um, so everyone should upgrade to 0.13.3. Other network client versions should not be observed on the network because they are insecure.
Hmm.
And bad things could potentially happen to you in that case. So it's dangerous for you to run it. You should upgrade as soon as possible. In terms of why it was there, I can't answer to that. Um, Hopefully, code review practices maybe will increase upstream. Um, there were there was talk about whether, because that piece of code that was contributed by a fairly prominent Bitcoin Core developer, whether that meant that people were less encouraged to review the code as thoroughly as they otherwise would do if the code was contributed by someone less close to the core development community. So I don't know if they'll be reviewing that or not. But I think it just goes to show that this stuff is still pretty experimental, and there will be bugs. It's impossible to have software that's completely bug free.
Hmm.
And so, people need to be vigilant and ensure that, they're paying attention to when new updates are coming out, making sure they're being, really sensible with their money and not, you know, going around running old versions of software that's vulnerable.
Yeah. Now I know Bitcoin, at least from the core development, they've been very good with security, making sure that whatever they put out is top notch and not vulnerable to attacks and things of that nature. So this at least from my standpoint, I haven't been in the game necessarily since the beginning of Bitcoin, but this seems like a anomaly. This doesn't happen very much with that core development team, right?
Well, it does happen, and it has happened in the past,
Hmm.
similar bugs of this nature. I think also there are most likely a lot of bugs that we don't get to hear about simply because they're fixed
Okay.
without anything needing to be said about it,
Hmm.
almost caught before they're sort of released into the wild, so to speak. In this particular example, we get to know about it because it was revealed as part of a whole responsible disclosure situation. So an individual from another community, reported the bug. They had time to fix it, and then once the patch was deployed, um, only then, after a couple of days, did they actually announce what the vulnerability really was.
Okay. So was there any sort of I guess damage report as to, I guess, do they know how many times this bug may have been exploited in order
So
to
it's
create?
never been exploited,
Okay, that's
as
good.
far as we're aware.
Okay.
I mean, you can scan the blockchain to test whether it's been exploited, and it hasn't. So,
Okay. Awesome. That's good.
given that most of the Bitcoin miners have upgraded, and a large proportion of the Vertcoin network has upgraded, we should be safe now. But you should check to make sure you're running 0.13.3 the next time you use Vertcoin Core. If you don't run Vertcoin Core all the time, then before you open it next, you should upgrade. If you're running Vertcoin Core as a node, so it's running all the time, then you should stop it immediately and upgrade to the new version.